Most of us know exactly what we want to do in life, and most of us are afraid to take the step to make that dream a reality. And that is why I wrote this book, The Tyranny of the Ordinary, breaking free from mediocrity to embrace an extraordinary life. How different will your life be in the next 5 years, in the next 10 years, in the next 20 years? If where you are now is where you want to be in the next 20 years, then please power on. But if you realize that where you are now is not where you want to be in the next 5 or 10 or 20 years, then this message is for you. Hi, my name is Yana Komchinubo, and I'm the author of this book, The Tyranny of the Ordinary. And the essence of this book is to give you principles that my late grandfather, Mr. Francis Kojopoku, popularly known as Poku Transport, distilled in us. So he was a very successful businessman, and he lived his life by certain principles. And he shared those principles with my parents, and they shared it with us. And those are the principles that are encapsulated in this book. So I'm going to create a series where every episode is a chapter of the book. So we're going to start with, I'll say the epilogue, not the first chapter, but then what precedes chapter 1. And it's what the meaning of ordinary is. Because like I said, the title of the book is The Tyranny of the Ordinary. And what do I mean by ordinary? So an extraordinary life to me is a life that honors the 8-year-old you and the 80-year-old you. What do I mean by that? So the 8-year-old you who was full of hope, who was full of dreams, passion, faith. You know, when you go to an 8-year-old class and you ask them what do you want to be, all their hands go up. I want to be a doctor. I want to be a model. I want to be a princess. I want to be a robot. I want to be a this. I want to be a that. But as we grow older, most of the time when life starts life, and we forget who we wanted to be when we're 8-year-old. We forget all the dreams that we had when we were young because we have to be realistic all of a sudden, right? So I say that an extraordinary life is a life that honors that little child in you, the little girl, the little boy, the one who had faith and hope and had dreams that knew no bounds. And the 80-year-old you, the 80-year-old you who's full of wisdom, who's full of experience, who is full of knowledge, right? If you can live a life that honors the 8-year-old you, honors the little girl or boy's dreams that they had, honors the vision, the hope that they had, and if you can find peace at your 80-year-old self, full of hope, full of peace, fulfillment, genuine happiness because you had the audacity to live the life that you genuinely wanted to live, then you're living an extraordinary life. And what do I mean by audacity to live the life you genuinely want to live? Most of us know what we want to do. In my first book, Conquering, there was this question that said, if you went to see your doctor and he said you have 3 months to live, how would you live your life? And the funny thing is, there was research, there's so many research that have proved that most people will literally do a 180-degree turn, right? They would live a life completely different from what they're living now. Because when death is imminent, so many things don't matter anymore, right? But that's how we should live life every day, whether or not we've got that daunting news from our doctors, right? We should live life like every single day matters. Every single day is a script that you're adding to the book of your life. Every single day is a chapter in the book you're writing. Every single day is a stroke on the masterpiece of your life. So we have to live it intentionally. I was doing research once and I saw this test that they call the skip test, where they ask you how much of your life you'd want to skip on a regular basis. And most people said they'll want to skip at least 50% of their life. So imagine living life and wanting to skip 50% of it. That means you're not living a life that you want to live, or a life that's in accordance with what is going to make you fulfilled. So that's the essence of this book. And I like to start with a quote. So the tyranny of the ordinary often feels invisible, but its impact is profound, shaping our lives in ways that are hard to escape. Whether it's through the slow erosion of passion, the overwhelming demands of responsibility, or the paralyzing fear of change, the tyranny of the ordinary can hold us back from pursuing the lives we truly desire. Yet, breaking free is always possible, even if it takes years, loss, or a wake-up call to realize it. It is possible to live a life that you want to live. It's very possible to live a life by design, a life that brings you faith, hope, a life that brings you peace, a life that brings you joy. And it's like right now, that is missing in our society. Youth I work in the corporate world as an attorney, and sometimes when you even go to the office and say good morning, they look at you like, what's good about the morning? You know, like we've settled for a life that is so different from what we genuinely want, that it makes us resentful, it makes us bitter as we get older, and we see people who have had the courage to live lives that they want to live. We begin to resent them, we begin to be jealous of them, we envy them, and that's what I want us to stop doing. So what does the tyranny of the ordinary look like? The tyranny of the ordinary looks like your dreams that you have shelved, right? When you were younger, you wanted to be an artist, you wanted to be a doctor, you wanted to be a fashion designer, whatever it is you wanted to be. You have shelved those dreams now because you have responsibilities. Because now you're a mother, you're a father, now you have bills to pay. So all of a sudden, the dreams that made you stay up at night, the dreams that gave you joy, fulfillment, are not worth it anymore. Not that they're not worth it, but they're not urgent anymore, so to speak. They're not important anymore because right now we have to pay the bills. Right now we have to keep the lights on. We have to pay the kids' school fees. But then how long can you continue living like that and be fulfilled, genuinely fulfilled? And when I say fulfillment, I don't mean in line with society's script, right? Because there's so many people who look very good on paper in terms of their resume, in terms of their accolades, their properties and stuff, but they're very miserable on the inside. So it's not you living in accordance with the script that society has written for you. It's you living in accordance with what you want to be, with what you believe is a successful life. So that's what I want to talk about. And then the tyranny of the ordinary, what does it mean? So it means, like I said, you shelving your dreams. It means you no longer pursuing the things that inspire you. It means you no longer looking for things that you're curious about, things that genuinely intrigue your interest, things that you know would make you feel at peace at the end of the day. The tyranny of the ordinary is you sitting on the sidelines, you living the length of your life, but not the width and the height of it. What do I mean by that? We always hear people lived, oh, he lived till 90, he lived till 80, till 100. But did the person really live? You know that. So I was having an interview once, and then someone mentioned a TikToker who passed away recently. I forgot his name, but when they mentioned the name, what everyone said was, that guy lived, though. And the thing is, he lived and he wasn't even up to 35. But he lived in such a way that even his audience knew he lived. Does that make sense? So he lived not just the length, because obviously he died quite young, but he lived the width of his life. He lived life to the fullest with intentionality. So when I say living life to the fullest, I don't mean I necessarily going on luxurious vacations or buying the latest cars or stuff like that. No, if that's not what you want, that's not what you want. But what I'm trying to say is that living an extraordinary life is living life with urgency, with intentionality, doing things that align with your values, doing things that bring you genuine joy. Because if you hate traveling, and right now, let's say on social media, the thing going is travel, and you spend every 2 weeks traveling, you're not living life on your terms. You're just living for societal approval, and that's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about you living life on your terms, life that you know at the end of the day is going to bring you so much joy and so much fulfillment as you look back. So that's the tyranny of the ordinary. So that's it, guys, for today, and then I'll see you next in the next episode. Bye, guys.